Okay, picture this. The year is 720 BC. You're just a regular farmer living a quiet life in the massive Assyrian Empire under King Sargon II. Everything seems normal, but your whole world is about to get flipped upside down. Today, we're going to step right into the sandals of a guy just like you and see what it was really like to become a soldier in one of the most feared armies of the ancient world. This is my story.
And that was the hard truth for thousands of young men all across Mesopotamia. Getting conscripted wasn't a choice. I mean, one minute you're out in the fields worried about your crops, and the next, bam, your life isn't yours anymore, it belongs to the state. It was a sudden, jarring way to start a journey I promise you nobody would ever volunteer for. You know, every single year, government officials would show up in the villages. And let me tell you, it was a time of pure dread. We'd all be thinking the same thing, just praying, please don't pick me, please not me. You give them your taxes, a part of your harvest, and you just hope that's it. But this year, my luck ran out. An official just pointed right at me, and just like that, it was over. My old life was gone. And wow, what a life to leave behind. Let's just break it down. As a farmer, I had a real comfortable bed. As a soldier, the hard ground is your new best friend. At home, maybe you'd eat some roast duck you hunted. In the army, you eat whatever slop they decide to give you. I had a girlfriend, a family, but in the army, there are no women and you're always on the move. And here's the biggest difference. Farm work is tough, for sure, but a plow never tried to kill you. Now, it feels like everyone is.
So, you're in the army now, and those first few months, they're just pure misery. See, as the new guy, you get all the worst jobs, all of them. The veteran soldiers, they just laugh while they watch you suffer. It's absolutely back-breaking work, and it's all designed to do one thing, to break you down so they can build you back up into a soldier. So what kind of jobs are we talking about? The list is endless. I was building roads for the army to march on, which meant chopping down trees and hauling these super heavy baskets of gravel until my back was screaming. I built bridges across huge rivers like the Tigris by inflating animal skins, like giant gross balloons, and tying them all together. And trust me, you did not want to fall in. And then there were the really dirty jobs, like digging the latrines. Let's just say that is a smell I will never, ever forget.
And all day, every single day, there's an officer just watching you. He's got a whip, and he is not afraid to use it. There's no slowing down, no taking a break. It's just constant shouting, the crack of that whip, and this fear that just keeps you moving, even when you feel like you literally cannot take one more step. That's how they beat discipline into you.
After weeks of all that hard labor, I finally started to learn how to be a real infantryman. And the first lesson was marching. Sounds simple, right? Just walking? Wrong. In a super tight formation, packed in with hundreds of other guys, one wrong step causes total chaos. I'd trip, get tangled up with the man next to me, and the whole formation would just collapse like dominoes. The officer would scream until he was beet red. But you learn fast, because on a real battlefield, a mistake like that isn't just embarrassing, it gets you killed. But then, the night comes. The officers are gone, the shouting finally stops, and in the quiet of the camp, lying on the cold ground with just a thin blanket, your mind just starts to drift. You can't help it. You start thinking about the life you lost, about everything you miss.
If I could have somehow sent a message home, scratched onto a clay tablet, this is what it would say. I miss my warm bed. I miss the taste of real food, not this army mush. I miss the smell of the fields after it rains. But most of all, more than anything in the world, I miss feeling safe. I miss just knowing that I'm going to wake up tomorrow. So, after your training is finally done, they put you in this huge parade right in front of King Sargon himself. You have to look absolutely perfect. Then, the king gives a big speech. He tells us all that King Pisiris of Carchemish has refused to pay tribute, the taxes he owes our empire. And that means one thing, war. So there it is, your first mission, march to Carchemish and take that city.
So how exactly do you capture a walled city? Well, there are basically two ways to do it. There's the quick and bloody way. We just charge the walls carrying nothing but these heavy wooden ladders and bronze axes. Your heart is just pounding in your chest as you run towards a storm of arrows just trying to overwhelm the guys on the wall. It's fast, but it is unbelievably dangerous. The other way? It's slow, grueling. You surround the city, dig tunnels, cut off their food and water, and you just wait. You wait for them to starve. That is a siege.
After a long siege, Carchemish finally falls. And now you get your reward. You're allowed to loot. This is your chance to get rich. You're running through the streets, grabbing gold, jewels, anything you can find. For a moment, it honestly all feels worth it. But there are rules. King Sargon wants the city to pay taxes to him later, so you can't just burn it to the ground. You have to remember, dead people and burned cities don't pay taxes, and you do not want to make the king angry.
You know, after that first battle, you realize something pretty quick. Nobody wants to be a plain old spearman for their whole life. You're just another body, a cog in the machine. To survive, to get any respect, to have a better life, you've got to climb the ranks. It was time to volunteer for something more. And that's when the next chapter of my journey really began. Over the next several years, I went from being a terrified recruit to a disciplined spearman, then to a skilled archer, and even a cavalryman for a little while. That was bumpy. Every single step was a promotion, and each one was earned with sweat and blood. And it was all leading to one ultimate goal: joining the most elite unit in the entire army.
Man, becoming an archer was a total game changer. All of a sudden, I wasn't at the bottom of the pile anymore. I even got assigned my own new recruit to carry my big straw shield for me. For the first time, I was the one giving the orders. But it came with new problems, like intense fitness training because archers have to be fast. And the battles were way more dangerous. I'll never forget when the Urartu people ambushed us at the Battle of Musasir. We barely, and I mean barely, got out of there alive. My really big break came when my unit chased the enemy king, a guy named Ursa, all the way to the Zab River. And we got him. We actually captured him. For that, King Sargon himself promoted me to the Koradu. This was it, the best of the best. The rewards were just unbelievable. My own slave to cook and clean for me, gifts of gold straight from the king. But the price was high. The Koradu got the most dangerous missions, spying deep in enemy territory, and in a battle, our only job was to protect the king, no matter what it cost. And then, after so many years that I'd honestly lost count, it was over. I was allowed to go home. I walked all the way back to my village, not as that scared farm boy who was dragged away, but as a rich, famous war hero. Coming home was strange. The village looked the same, but I was so different. Everyone cheered for me. I was rich enough now to buy a massive new farm and hire people to work it for me. I even found my old girlfriend, and we got married. But there was sadness too. While I was gone fighting all those wars, my parents had passed away. And there's this constant shadow hanging over me. As a former member of the Koradu, if a really big war breaks out, the king can call me back. I might never be truly free. So I came back with treasure, with incredible stories, and with a lot of scars. The whole village looks at me like I'm some kind of hero. But when I look in the mirror, I just have to wonder, was all that glory really worth the price? Am I even the same person who left those fields all those years ago? So, throughout my story, we use some pretty specific words from the Assyrian army. Let's do a quick breakdown of what they all mean, just so you know. First up, the Koradu. Okay, this was the most important, most elite unit in the entire Assyrian army. Think of them like the special forces of their time. Only the absolute best, most battle-tested soldiers ever got in. Next, a siege. This is basically a military blockade. It's when an army surrounds a city or a fortress, cuts off all its supplies, and then tries to make it surrender, either by starving them out or by launching a huge attack. It's really a battle of patience. Okay, tribute. This is basically a payment. A smaller or weaker country would pay tribute, usually gold, food, or other valuable stuff, to a more powerful empire, like Assyria. It was a way to show respect, but really it was a way to avoid getting attacked. And last but not least, Mesopotamia. This is the ancient region where my whole story takes place. It's located right between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. In fact, the name itself is Greek and literally means the land between two rivers. It was one of the first places civilization really took off, and it was the heart of the Assyrian Empire.